Alright, we're gonna take a look at this crap. This awful event. With the worst healer in the game featured in the 6-star area of the first banner.
Are you drunk? Not drunk enough.
Daj, you must try Mountain DEW and Dorito cereal sometime. IT Brown GG.
God, yes. If she tells me to do it, then I must. Okay. Destined Confrontation Awakening Power. Obviously, it is not called this. Fate calls Power Awakens because we don't get cool things. D-E-U-W? Did she say W? I didn't hear it. It's lost in the mix. Okay, new skills. We get 2 new skills. Water Mirage and Torrential Seal. They're probably called different things, but they're going to do the same shit. Water Mirage is 1 single target for now. And gives you Physical Blink, and it gives you another status, which doesn't do anything initially, but it allows something else to happen. The other status is Blink Stacking. So as long as you have Blink Stacking, it allows you to stack up physical blinks to that number. So, say Edge uses this with his ability to double cast. Oh, it would have... If we could just keep so many different localizations, the JP style, instead of where we get whatever we got. Finally made it to a banner preview live, sure. I'm glad you could make it. Can you stack Physical Blink from any source? Yes. Including, I believe it's Edge that gets Physical Blink from an LMR. Yeah, 25% chance to grant Physical Blink 1 to the user after using a ninja ability. So what happens here is you use that Mirage ability, and you give yourself Physical Blink 1. And if you're using it with Edge, you have this ability, after the ability goes off, of having a 25% chance to add 1 more Physical Blink on top of that. Because he has that Physical Blink stacking. Because of the Water Mirage. You can only stack it up to twice, but that's still plenty, and it's definitely a very good thing considering what Edge and Shadow's USBs do. You want to have 2 stacks of Blink. Not necessary, because it's a little rare-ish, but they do attack so quickly that it's going to help out with you. Who else can stack Blinks? Well, everybody. Now. Everybody with Ninja 5. Right, exactly. It's based on the ability itself, Water Mirage. It's easier for certain people to stack them than others. Absolutely. But anyone can do it, as long as you have the ability to use Water Mirage. And the companion ability, Torrential Seal, I think Water Torrent or something or other, you get 2 to 4 single target water physical attacks. And the additional attacks depend on how many blinks you have. If you have 0 blinks, it does 2 attacks. If you have 1 blink, it does 3. And if you have 2 stacks of blink on yourself, then you get 4. Will I be honing this ability? Most likely, yes, because I have Yuffie's Versal Break. Not because I'm going to have the Edge or Shadow's USBs that would make these, you know, crazy. Reflecting Pool and Raging Waters, thank you. Oh. Water Mirage and Torrential Seal just sound so much better, don't they? Again. Well, anyway, since I have Yuffie and her BSB, and like, look at my current Living Flame team. I'm using Yuffie and her BSB on it, but the way that I'm generating Soul Break Gauge in the beginning of the fight is by using the 3-star water ability. Which does an acceptable amount of damage, but since I'm going to be buffing attack in the team anyway, I think I may be able to get more damage out of using Water Mirage, or these two abilities, or just one of these abilities instead. So yeah. Both of these are very good, and they're absolutely 100% designed to go with Edge's USB, which we'll be seeing when we get to the banner. But they're not terrible on their own either for certain people, like Yuffie. Uses Dark, Power, and Ice Major Orbs, and this is why in the months leading up to these events in 30th Anniversary, I've been trying to hammer home the point where Dark and Ice Orbs are probably the most valuable orbs in the entire game, and if you have the chance to farm them, you should take them if you can. Personally, I'm more on the Ice side because I planned on, or did hone a lot of sharpshooting abilities. Yeah, Onion Ninja is going to be fun. But if you had any plans on going for either of these USBs, for Edge or Shadow, then they have a lot of 5-star honing that needs to get done, and that's a lot of Dark Orbs, because Dark is the primary here. That's why it's in bold. So, Dark Orbs are at a premium. A premium because of this event and the event that is coming after it. Whatever, the Final Fantasy VI event with Shadow and Setzer on the banner. So yeah, there you go. Yeah, mine too, Epic Wander. Flame Tongue is a weird weapon, and I love it. I love it for that. That's actually going to be my next augment target. Alright, so let's take a look at the new characters. We have Rubicante, with Black Magic 5, White Magic 5, and Darkness 5. That's interesting that he's a full Sage. But as we'll see, his relics kind of leave something to be desired, at least I think. We got level 80 stats. Let's take a look at this level 99. Rubicante level 99 stats is 212 magic. Let's see where he falls on the scale. I mean, 212, I can already tell you, is near the top. Oh my god, it's not even. He pays the price for being a Sage. Close enough, but definitely not in the top 10, maybe the top 20. I don't want to count. What else does he have? 170 oh, never mind. That's 184 Mind, which makes sense. This is a Sage. I was going to say, 170, 184 for his defensive statistics? That's a pretty tanky mage, which would have actually been really fun. But he definitely has the 133 defense, which is higher than all these other mages. All of them. Except for Desh. Desh with a 142. Vayne with a 142, but that makes sense. He's a frontliner. Alright, so moving on. Took a look at Rubicante's stats. RMs, medium magic defense up and equipping light armor. Not really that useful. Black up. Black up. Very basic, but a good record dive. I don't see any, like, flaws here. And even though he's a Sage, he doesn't take up any +6 slots with +6 Mind. He gets a Mind, and that's fine. But all the 6 slots are +6 Magic, which is good. And you want the BLK on a Mage. Alright, Legend Dives. We have Kain and Edge. Okay, Kain lightning damage up, which is good. because that will affect both his ability usage and his soul break usage. And minor blind resist is fine, but it does run into just a minor hiccup. Minor lightning resist isn't terribly useful. You'd prefer that this was a moderate status resist instead of lightning resist. Like in Edge's scenario, we have katana damage up. That sucks. There is one water katana in the game. It is no longer available. I think it's either Edge's first or second soul breaks. But the primary plus water relic that Edge can use with his USB at this point in the game is Riku's USB, which is a fist weapon. So he actually doesn't gain any benefit from this if you're going to be using Riku's fist weapon. And if you're using its katana, then you're not getting plus 20% damage from plus 20% water damage. Now, if you do not have Riku's fist weapon, then you can make sure to equip him with a katana. But at least he's got the stacking status resists here. That's nice. But this is, I think this is a big failure, and probably why I ended up defaulting to Shadow as being the better of the two from the Chase Ninjas, because I think his Legend Dive is better and more suited for what he's capable of. Legend Spheres. Yeah, ninja damage 9%. Yeah. That is... It works both ways, where this doesn't affect Shadow's soul break entries. Where if you have a katana equipped on Edge, that 9% will affect his entries. However, this will not affect Shadow's. However, this is going to affect everything else that Shadow does. There should never be an ability that Shadow uses, except for maybe a couple life siphons in the beginning of the fight, if you decide to go that route, that wouldn't benefit from this damage increase. Maya, thank you very much for the follow. I appreciate it. But for what counts and what these two guys do, this is going to be more useful. So Legend Materia, we have Kane. Let's go take a look at it on here so we can look at actual percentages. Kane and Edge, right? Um, 10% water dealt with LM1 and 35% chance to dual cast Ninja. It's great. That's great. 35% chance to dual cast Ninja is perfect for what he does. Which Magicite boss slows? I think that's Fenrir. And Kane is the other one? Ooh. Iterative. Attack plus 2% for each hit dealt with jump attacks. Up to 50%, but it's still... The ramp takes too long. I think that'll be better once Kane gets his USB. But still, this is kind of poor. This is a poor Legend Materia. Especially this too, Dragoon abilities. At least make it jump attacks, so his soul breaks are also affected. But Dragoon abilities means that his soul breaks do not get plus 25% more damage when equipping a spear. Oof. Yeah, this is terrible. This is terrible, terrible. Just like Rose's. Fitting. Yeah, Rose's got some awful Legend Materia. Alright, now we're going to move on to the banners. Kane's CSB. I don't know. Yeah, exactly, Ricky. That's what I'm saying. Like, you want to give Edge Riku's USB as a relic. I heap enough praise on you. You can take some beats, okay? Yeah, exactly what Call said. That USB is a game breaker, so they had to be like, whoa, 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 whoa. We gotta back that train up. Alright, first banner, we have Edge on his USB, 10 single target random, water, lightning, physical damage. Self quick cast, water element abilities, which... okay. And when casting ninja abilities. And, alright, we're gonna... I wanna see the Enlier wording. Grants Chaotic Moon. Wasn't it Wild Moon? I kind of liked Wild Moon. Extra syllable for no reason. Grants High Quick Cast 1 after using a magic attack. Wow. Or a water attack. High Quick Cast 1 for already ninja commands. So he basically attacks instantly under his USB. Well, that's cool, and cast Water Bolt Seal at the same time, and we're going to go take a look at that, and it's going to sound really familiar. Water Bolt Seal is Water Lightning Non-Elemental, and it does 1, 1, or 2 single attacks at 2.16 each if the user has Physical Blink 0, 1, or 2. Since this isn't actually going to proc, if he has no Physical Blink, you can just forget the first number. It's if you have 1 Physical Blink, you get 1 attack. If you have 2 Physical Blinks, you get 2 attacks. So that kind of... that's why we talk about honing these abilities so much. What's up, Shadow? Why are you telling me to wait a sec? So yeah, the 2.16 for the base, if you only have 1 blink, is really high. If we remember correctly, and we don't even have to remember because it's right here, if you average out how many chases Bartz gets with his USB, it averages out to about 2.0 over on a long enough timeline. Oh, okay. So the fact that at base, if you have 1 physical blink, you get a 2.16. And then move on to a 4.32 if you have 2 physical blinks, means that this is just a sickeningly powerful chase. And it does make Edge the Water God. So you use the USB, and then you just go crazy, either using the ability that gives you blink, or the ability that takes advantage of blink. And remember, it has a gigantic, I think a 4.0 multiplier, just by itself if you have 2 physical blinks. So you do the 4.0, and then you do 4.32 on top of that, with the chance to double cast the initial ability usage. And this is all done at high quick cast speed, which you're already affecting ninja cast, which is 0.83 seconds. So high quick cast brings that down to 0.2 something. So it's almost instantaneous. Yeah, there's really just there's nothing that matches this. You think Titus beats him? I think Titus is a better character. I prefer to use Titus personally, but I think Edge wins. Edge's USB does not give him N water. No, he needs to use his BSB to get that. I wouldn't doubt it. I wouldn't doubt it. I'm sure somebody has. So that's what makes it useful to entrust Battery Edge. Because by giving yourself End Water through the BSB, you increase your damage output by 50% or more. Right, you can spam the blink ability. You use the ability suitable for the situation. And remember, you attack at almost instant cast speed, so you can adapt to the situation pretty well. Please. So yeah, it's just USB is the best water damage output soul break in the entire game. Rosa USB. I've talked about this a few times before. We can skip it now, right? We can skip it. I guess we shouldn't skip it. Rosa's USB turns her into a healing goddess. Good. I was waiting for the reaction. I was waiting for it. Rosa is one of the few healers that has support 4. And because she has support 4, she can do a really interesting combo with this USB. Zero cast time, Curaga Medica, Party HP Stock 2000, and Magic Blink. Essentially what this means is Rosa using a Striker can Wrath twice and use her USB to completely heal the party. And that also, when the important part about this is it leaves Magic Blink up and HP stock as well, which means there's a buffer in between, you know, when the party needs to be healed after that. Which is perfect because that allows Rosa to Wrath 2 more times and do the same thing again. It's a simple way to play. It's brainless, but it's extremely effective. Rosa does not benefit from Legend Dive. Please do not Legend Dive Rosa. It's that good. It's just that good. 20 Wraths enough? Yeah, I hope so. I think 10 should be. That's 5 USB casts. There aren't many battles where you need more than 5 USB casts. Now we move into the BSB section. We have 3 of them belonging to Paladin, Cecil, Rubicante, and Edge. Paladin Cecil's is kind of weird. I think we're kind of moving towards an era of knights who are either excellent damage dealers, or they trade some of that damage to be a tank. And this burst trades all of its damage in order to be a tank, and that's my issue with it. We don't have any End Holy on cast. It's just Self Sentinel. And taking a look at the commands, we have 3 to 5 single target Holy non-elemental. Number of hits increases based on number of attacks received. Again, this is an iteration that you can't rely on, especially with a lot of attacks being nat these days. So they would break the Sentinel and start, target other people, because the Sentinel targets or taunts PHY or BLK or WHT attacks. Or no, I think it's just PHY or BLK. I hate this command. At least he can use Guardbringer because he gets Sentinel on cast, but he has no way to improve the damage output of Guardbringer like someone like Beatrix or Agrius can. Beatrix and Agrius are really effective tanks because of their Sentinel, but they also inflict Imperil Holy. Yeah. And I really don't like this burst at all. If we're going to have knights these days, there are a lot of knights, and there are a lot of knights that do better than this, including Cecil himself. Cecil's USB is actually a legitimate damage dealer of an ability because it gives him Hen Holy as well as plus 100% defense to help out with getting Guardbringer up to 4 hits. So his USB is the hybrid and can be a tanking with 6,000 HP stock as well. It can be a tanking plus damage dealing Soul Break, while this burst is just tanking. It needs to be combined with something else in a gacha game where you're struggling to put together, you know, combos and stuff like that. Or every combo that you put together costs more and more of your resources, whether that be gems or mithril. You don't want something that does so little, and I just feel like this BSB does very little. So next up, we have Rubicante's BSB, True Inferno, 6 Area of Effect. We're going to see a theme here. He is a very Area of Effect based. Area of Effect, Fire, Non-Elemental, and End Fire. The burst commands are one of those summon commands, except instead of summon, it's more on theme with what Rubicante does, and he enters his cloak state. You can +1 English for that. I just called it a cloak stake. It doesn't sound like an appetizing steak. Alright, so self magic blink and enter flame cloak state with 50% chance to counter physical damage with 1 area of effect fire non-elemental. You don't. Not you. Under flame cloak state, if you recast 4 times single target fire non-elemental, remove flame cloak. So in order to get his single target attack, you need to do nothing. You actually just have to do nothing. Give yourself magic blink and flame cloak. So it's not like the others where you can say, okay, well, I don't feel like using my summon command. I'm just going to use single target instead because it makes more sense here. You can't do that with him. It's either area of effect, which means lower multipliers, or suffer. Unless, like, there is just a silly amount of area of effect physical in the fight, which would allow him to get a chance to counter with this 1 area effect fired elemental. I really just don't like this burst at all. It's just not useful enough. In order to be useful, you either need to focus on area of effect and be a specialist in that, and this isn't enough. It's not enough. Or you need to be single target with the ability to do area of effect. You know, like most mages in the game that have, you know, their first command single target and second command, you know, magic buff and area of effects, right? Oh, I thought I had a follow. I'm like, where is it? Where's the alert? No, it's just my music selection. That one got me. I usually don't get hit by the sub or the host anymore, but this one was brutal. I got faked out hard. Right, it's the gimmick is cool. It's really cool because Rubicante is cool, and he puts up his cloak, and that's awesome. But it's not terribly effective. Yeah, I'm saying it has flavor but no substance. It's not nourishing. And last off, we have Edge's BSB, which is really basic but still good. And water, and has ninja cast time commands. The first command is single target, and the second command is area of effect. And both of them, short cast time, means half cast time. Does his sprite change with cloak on? I don't believe it does, Paranoid. That would change everything, wouldn't it? So this is good because it is a way for Edge to receive End water. which increases the already disgusting amount of damage that his USB does. So you would like to see these two together. So moving into the LMR section, we have Rose... Oh, first, Apocalypse has a 2. Edge has a 1, but we know that isn't plus water. And Rubicante Escape has a 4. Yeah. So Edge's RS, water up on Katana. RS, holy damage up on Cecil's BSB2. And all realm fire damage up on the Rubicante Cloak, which is nice. But for the LMR section, we have up to medium mind based on number of white magic abilities used. This is awful. It's awful just like Rose's Legend Dive is. So all of her Legend everything is bad, which is unfortunate, but understandable considering how powerful her USB is. The next relic target for me would be 30th Anniversary Festival. Whatever shows up there. The lucky draws are almost certainly going to be 3 pulls for me, and then the banners are going to be a hot ticket for me as well. No Celeste BSB2 banner to pull me away with this time. And here we have Edge's Cloak, which is a 7. RS water damage up, of course. We can't have nice things. Low chance to self-blink when using ninja abilities. Oh yeah, I showed you guys this. It's nice because as long as you have that blink stacking status on you from using that ninja ability, you can get up to 2, and this allows you to more easily get up to 2 stacks, which is very effective for Edge because he gets benefit from using the 5-star ninja ability that does 4 hits when you have 2 stacks, as well as his chase that does more hits the more stacks you have. Will I pull on the free 30% pull? Or 30 times pull? I don't know. I'm mulling it over. It may be a skip, but, yeah, I don't know. It's a toughie. Next up, we have 4 Super Soul Breaks. So that means we're going to have, this is going to be a 2%er, this is a 2%er, this is a 2%er, and lastly, Edward's Soul Song Harp is a 1%er, which stinks because Party Magic Combined 30% and Quick Cast Magic 3 is actually a pretty powerful soul break for being an Entrust bot if you have a team with haste already. Definitely would prefer this over probably Rubicate's gloves, because I think Golbez's cloak is dark armor, and the red jacket is obviously a good super soul break. Yes, Adia, I will. Epic, it was a troll, and I don't know how to sell well, so I sell too well that I'm actually seriously saying what I'm saying. Of course I'm pulling. 10 RS dark damage? Are you serious? If this is RS dark damage, then this is... Ugh, that's a 2% you don't want to touch. But I'm gonna check it. I was dead serious. Like, I sold it too well. Which made it totally unfunny. Golbez's cloak. It is RS dark damage up. Wow. Wow, that sucks. And Rubicante is at least small fire damage up on the light armor. Yeah. So that's a... Wait a second. Yeah, it is. So that's less bad. Okay, so Rubicante's super is a single target, random fire, and pearl fire. Oh, the Soul Break isn't bad either. Soul Break isn't bad. Rubicante can use, you know, the four times hit Chain Faraga or Meltdown. No, Super Soul Break isn't a bracelet, it's light armor. The bracer... Oh, wait. Shit, you're right. Sorry. You're right. The light armor is the cloak. You're right. And Rubicante's super is a magical fist weapon. 89 attack, though. Right. It's good for him. Tassus, thank you very much for the follow. Tessius. Anyway, the super is not bad. However, upon learning that this is a plus fire fist weapon, that's depressingly awful. Except in the case of fire ninjas. Fire ninjas, yeah. That's actually not bad. I mean, there are no fire ninjas, but Onion Knight could probably use this. I don't know if that grid gets fists. I think it's more Onion Knight. Onion Knight and Fujin. Probably like this a lot. I don't think you want this for ETA. ETA has 2 plus fire fist weapons. Her BSB and her... I guess it's just her BSB. Fujin gets fists? No, she doesn't. So, thank you for calling me out on that. Refia does not get Ninja 5. She only gets Ninja 4. Or 3. 3 or 4. I think it's 4. Yeah, it's 4. If she got Ninja 5, that would be pretty awesome. So, anyway, don't like this. Really like this. This is a USB. It actually has 4 effects just like a USB does. 0 cast time, party physical blink, last stand, and haste. It is actually just a USB. So that's nice, and it is plus fire light armor. So that's also good. This is a big hit on the banner. Golbez's Super Soul Break is not. It's just an End Dark Super, and it's not even a plus dark light armor. And the Soul Harp from Edward is not bad at all. Matching a Mind plus 30% and Quick Cast Magic 3. Is that Quick Cast Magical Attacks 3? It would have to be. Yeah, it has to be. Yeah, no shit. I have the Ebon armor. Okay, so as you can see from this banner, there are some holes. There's some holes, and you can fall into them fairly easily. We have a 2%, oh god, 4% already from the bottom of the banner that are just not good pulls. Not good pulls, and you can add on 1 more % if you're not interested in using Edward as an entrust bot. I would be more partial to using Edward as an entrust bot with his haste USB or his haste super. This would be if you also had Onion Knight in your party. Or someone else that can, you know, grant haste. So it's less useful than the other two. So you can add on 1 more % on there if you'd like. And here we add on another 1% because this is awful. Rubicante and Cecil's bursts aren't very good. So you can add on a couple more %. This is a Feast or Famine banner. Which sucks. Because there's some nice feast on this banner. And it has nothing to do with Cloak Stake. Edge and Rose's USBs are incredible. Edge's BSB is absolutely complimentary and desired if you have his USB. Edge's LMR is good. And Edge's Super Soul Break is good. So we get a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6% out of 14. That's a less than 50% chance to pull something worth a damn. I don't like this banner. And I wrote off Edge a long time ago because of it. I looked at this banner and said, okay, well, I'm going to focus on getting other things, you know, like Bart's USB, because I can't pull on this banner. It's just way too much shit to compensate for the good. And yeah, what Will says, just pray that Rosa stays on the second phase of 30th anniversary. Yeah. So taking a look at the second banner, we have Cecil's USB, which is cool, but also possibly going to be appearing on the 30th anniversary festival. Anyway, I like his USB, and I have no issue going into it right now. The Lightbringer itself is plus holy weapon, so it's a 6-star plus holy weapon. That's fine. It's great. There's a lot of them, but I still know a lot of people, including myself, that don't have one. I have a dagger, but I wouldn't mind also having a sword for the added attack for the people that can use the swords. Does that mean another shot at chicken knife? Well, yeah. I hope I get another shot at chicken knife on the second phase of the 30th anniversary. 10 single target, holy non-elemental physical damage, and holy self-X mode paladin, which is defense plus 100%, and HP sock 6000. I talked about this on the previous banner when we looked at Cecil's BSB 2. This is all good. It's tank, it's defense plus 100%, and it's unholy, meant to be used together for a strong guard bringer. That's great. HP sock 6000. That's nice. And we're also going to be getting the Divine Cross ability, which allows Holy Knights to use a Holy Knight ability that allows themselves to taunt PHY attacks, so that's going to be nice. And that is another status. Draw Fire itself gives you plus 100% defense. So those two stacked together make Cecil a really great Guardbringer user with just his USB. A great damage dealer and a great tank. I really like this USB. Next up we have Kane's OSB, which is old as well. The Dragon Mail is nothing special. I think it just status resists. Minor fire resist, so not even status. So that's just not a good relic. And the multiplier scales with number of Dragoon abilities used, which is actually a hard iteration to hit. But it's still an OSB, a Lightning OSB, on one of the better Lightning physicals in the game. He's just not one of the better Lightning physicals yet. He gets there with his USB and eventually CSB. So this isn't a bad pickup, but it would be a future investment. And moving on to the BSBs, we have Sid from Final Fantasy IV, Kane, and Seodor. Sid is really not good. It's a Sid mission BSB, where he randomly attacks everything for lightning and elemental damage and applies a full breakdown status. This turns him into a replacement support, which isn't that bad because the support in Realm, Edward, isn't a great physical damage dealer, and Sid can definitely do that better. And I believe his commands are the basic power magic. Oh, magic and armor. Oh, whatever. That's okay. Well, anyway, it's a non-support character. I want to take a look at see if Sid Final Fantasy IV gets access to Life Siphon. I'd feel better about it if he got Life Siphon. Combat 5. He does get Life Siphon. That's not awful. I mean, there's so many, like, better ways to debuff in the game. Like, Shulk just blows this out of the water. But it's not awful. It's not awful. Able Lance is a plus lightning damage spear for Kane's BSB1, which is really old. Only 4 times area of effect lightning non-elemental. That's unfortunate because it's an end lightning BSB, so you kind of count on the recasts of those BSBs being, you know, high damage if you don't have access to OSB. And with this capping out at 40,000 damage because of the 4 times, that's unfortunate. It shows its age there. And it shows its age in the commands too, where we get 2 times single target for each. So it really, really, really needs to be comboed with the lightning dive ability for Dragoons, which gives them higher than 20k per turn damage potential. And no air time is definitely not as useful as faster cast times, because you can cheese no air time by just playing at a higher speed. The faster that you play, the faster jump attacks go off, because jump attacks work on a different timer than ATB. It actually keeps on going while actions are happening. So the faster you have the timer, the faster jump attacks are resolving while people are doing other things. So, yeah. This is usually just not even worth using. And the Smart Ether 1 is probably not even worth using because, well, it is if you're unable to hone Lightning Dive, but really, if you plan on using this, you should use Lightning Dive. I would only use the Smart Ether in probably submission situations where, okay, I need to use Kane, I never use Kane, and because I never use Kane, I don't want to hone Lightning Dive. So I'll go in there, I'll use Lightning Dive twice, and Ether it, and then go back and forth. And there's my submission, it's done, I never have to touch this again. So it's very old, and it's gonna... It really has run its course, I think. It's still not bad, and I'll probably use it for the submission in whatever that we get, but that's because I don't have a whole lot of Final Fantasy IV things. But it really gets obsoleted soon by better Kane things with Kane's USB and Kane's CSB. Alright, Seodor, Enhancer Sword. BSB, 8 single target, wholly non-elemental, Medica 40%, and Burst Mode. So this is kind of cool. It's definitely not Cecil-like, you know? Where Cecil just becomes a tank, and, you know, for what effectiveness that is, it's nice to be a tank and a damage dealer. But what Cecil does is, or Seodor brings, is actual real utility with the 40% max HP Medica and a first command that hits 4 times base. You know, it doesn't need to be hit for that to happen. And heal 1 ally for 25% of their maximum HP, which is cool. And the Ultra utility of the second command, which as soon as a random ally that has a status effect on them, a negative status effect. So that's nice. I think it's generally better to build your team so you don't have to use something like this, but it's a nice safety net, and I think I would use it often-ish if I got it. So there's our BSBs. It's kind of an okay, but going to be dated, and okay, above average. Just a good, unique BSB. Nothing really does what this does. Yeah, it does make him a good MP Knight. So, Legend Materies, we have Paladin Cecil, which... up to small, defense up based on number of attacks received. Again, iterative... for someone who gets so many defense buffs anyway, whether it's with his USB or from Divine Cross, or from his BSB2 for Sentinel. This is just not a good Legend materia. He follows his wife in that regard. For Kain, we get medium Dragoon damage up when equipping spears. This kind of is depressing since Dragoon damage is not applied to soul breaks. So this damage up that he gets when equipping a spear does not is non-existent and only affects basically Lightning Dive. Kain is Lightning Dive guy. Super section. What's our 1%er? We have Seodor's Cross Slash. Gives him Unholy, which is nice. It helps him deal real damage with his BSB. You know, if you need to resort to that. You probably don't need to, since it's not exactly uncommon to have Holy Knights capable of dealing real damage, but there may be situations in which you need the utility of his bursts, but also want him to deal damage at the same time, and have someone that can entrust him to make that possible. One good thing about Cecil Almar, it's plus Holy Armor. Right you are. Yeah, that is something worthy of note. Plus Holy Armor is still pretty valuable. I could still use one. But the 2%ers, we have Kain with... Oh, this one's old. No airtime 3 and 4 single target jump damage and non-elemental. This is 2% trash. Rosa's Divine Heal is actually one of the best supers in the game. Because Rosa is the only one that carries the Kiraga Medica plus Magic Blink that has support 4. The issue with that is this is just her USB minus 2 traits. Her USB is this plus HP stock and instant cast. So it's a consolation prize for the banner, but like there's already another banner active that has something so much better than this, so much better than anything on this banner. And Porom's Feathered Cap for Twin Star, party attack plus 30%, mind plus 15%, and critical crit fix to 50%. That's kind of nice, and this is a unique status, by the way, so it actually stacks with everything, including Shout, anything that increases attack and mind. You know what, but really not all that useful. I guess if you have Porom's BSB, you could use them both together in Jumpstart or something, but again, what you want from complementary things like this is you want them to be on banners with the things that they're complementary to. This is just Porom Super Soul Break showing up on a banner that has nothing for Porom on it. So it's just random poop, and you probably wouldn't use it by itself. You're not thinking to yourself, oh, I'm going to bring Porom to this fight and use Twin Star. And then single target cure for the entire fight. Yeah. No, you're not going to do that. And that's it. So this banner has holes just like the first one, but it doesn't have the prizes that the first one has. We're basically looking at Cecil's USB here. That's our prize on this banner. So this event's an easy skip for me, but I don't blame people for wanting to take the dive on a banner featuring both Edge and Rosa's USBs on them. What's everyone think? I will pull for Rosa's USB, Adia. Just not on this banner. Yeah, it would be on banner 2. I'll 100 gem it, because my Final Fantasy IV synergy is bad. Dawn, I pick Bart's USB. It depends. If it's a Vitality 3-star, I'm okay with it. But yeah, for the most part. No, I think I go with Bart's because I have healing. And I don't have any plans to stop pulling on healing banners in the future. We have... not the Tactics banner. The Final Fantasy XII banner with Ash and Balthier's USBs on it. Penelo's BSB2 shows up on that, and I really like that. Then on the Onion Knight banner has Aria and Arc. I get that Rosa's better than all of them. But I'm gonna have healing for the situation, I guess. I wouldn't say redundant. You get 60% Imperil available to you. And if you're alternating between the BSB2 and the USB, there's going to be a lot of, you know, a lot of actions going on there that... Because Vitality is generally hooked onto stuff that increases HP, and HP is in everybody's dives no matter what. Unlike Attack being for bravery and stuff like that. Since Vitality motes are used by everybody, they're the most in demand. Right. So your intent is to not only keep both of those up, but to also have a 60% in peril. Alright, let's